Hello and welcome to the new Smite Meta Update, what you should be playing to grind ranked. I'm not a Valve game, and I'm here to tell you what's good to play in this mid-season patch. The 9.5 Revert has changed a few things, but the last Meta Update should have caught you up to speed, so I do want to dive right into it. But before we start, it turns out 80% of you aren't subbed, so what's the deal with that? If you've enjoyed the content and you've learned something from it and want to see more, hit that sub button. It's free and you can always unsub later. But why should you listen to me? Well, I've been playing Smite as my main game since 2014, around the time of Kali rework, and have been in Masters consistently since Season 4. Hit Grandmasters once in Season 7, 3 times in Season 8, twice in Season 9, and twice in Season 10, so I hope I know a few things about grinding rank. With that out of the way, let's dive right into it. As always, I'll be starting with the carry role and moving all the way across the map into the solo lane to end the video. Each role will have a timestamp, so you can go where you need to, when you need to. It'll be in the description. The first character I'm going to talk about is Medusa. She has been destroying at all levels of play right now, and for good reason. While she's the least safe of all the characters I'm going to mention, she makes up for it more than she has to with her damage potential. I recommend you looking more towards an ability-based end, building Bluestone, Aussie, Jotuns, Crusher, Heartseeker, and finishing up the build with either Duality or Kins, depending on what the other team has. If they're tank-heavy and have a lot of health, I recommend Kins. Otherwise, go Duality. And even with the tank-heavy side, you might just want to go Duality anyway. It's really up to you. My next recommendation will be Charybdis. She's super safe, she has good jungle clear, good objective damage, plus Prot Shred. Her ultimate has been changed recently, so it's now a usable ability outside of running away, so keep that in mind. For her build, you want to look more towards a traditional hunter build. Crit has made a resurgence, and if you're interested in building that, I recommend this build. However, if you are looking to go something without crit, try swapping out the 2 crit items for Kins and Odysseus bow. It is certainly suitable. This build also works for our next few picks, the first of which being Anhur. He's aggressive, safe, has a lot of 1v1 potential, and his first ability gives a huge area slow, which could buy you a ton of time to get a ton of damage out or get away, while his leap, knockback, and his low cooldown CC immune ultimate help with his safety. And his aggression. Anhur can be a powerhouse, especially in the early game. His late game does kind of fall off a bit, but not enough to where you feel like less of a carry. Chernobog is my next recommendation, and he can go all of the builds I showed before, even the Medusa one. Since his passive now procs Bluestone, I personally like the Bluestone build the most, but test them out and pick your favorite. On top of his versatility, he has safety, good CC, global mobility, and he is amazing in the late game. So if that's what you're looking for, pick him up. Lastly, Hachiman, even though you might be sick of seeing him, he's still good. He's safe, got high damage, good in all phases of the game, and there's not much more to say than that. I stick with the more traditional carry build with him though, looking towards the crit that I mentioned before. My first recommendation in support is Horus, because the level of threat he brings early game is insane. If a carry does not respect you, you can essentially send them to the gray screen real quick, by yourself. His good CC, decent engage, his heal provides him with a level of safety that is really unmatched, and his semi-global can be useful if the player knows how to use it well. This build is a baseline support build that you have to adapt for your specific compositions. For example, mid-Guardian Male if the enemy team has 2 or 3 basic attack-focused characters, and this applies for all supports. If you want a bit of healing, some good CC, some good damage, and a powerhouse in the late game, go for Terra. Terra is all of these things. The change to her once so you don't even have to level it to make it usable is massive for her early clear, though I still recommend you leveling it at level 3. The Tier 2 Cloak of Concentration is a powerful item for cheap that you could leave at Tier 2 for a little while you finish your items. And then you can come back to it and either sell it or finish it up to Mantle of Discord or Spirit Robe, which I would more recommend. Bacchus is another aggressive support who can get away with building a little bit more damage. You probably noticed the Archdruid's Fury and the Mail of Renewal being put in these support builds. Recently, supports have been looking for a more fast style because of the aggressive style they've been playing, and these are the two kind of ways that they've been doing it. You could still look towards the Gauntlet of Thieves first, which is still fine, it still works, but if you're looking to be more aggressive, the Archdruids and the Mail of Renewal are both really strong items that have been picked up by a lot of high-level supports recently. But Bacchus is another one that has a fun, aggressive style that could be incredibly effective. He is really good at engage, Intoxicate is a very powerful CC, and he's just super tanky. A new face to the support role we haven't seen in a while is Artio. She's mostly back because of her healing and her ability to deny a lot of the characters listed before. Both Horus and Terra do not have a favorable matchup into her because of that AoE cripple field. She's an aggressive support that likes being able to run it down. Likes these aggressive Archdruids, Mail of Renewal builds that have been coming up recently. So, if that fits your playstyle, go for it. My last recommendation is going to be a mix of 2, like it was last time. Ares and Kuzenbo both do similar things in different ways. They walk at you, get your relics, or kill you. Both are very tanky. Ares does the damage quicker and is easier to kill, so pick your poison. In the mid lane, you still have this mixed bag, but there's a little bit less variety now that people have solidified what is good. But I can point you to a few characters. Chang'e stays on top. If this character makes it through the ban phase, you should be picking her in the mid lane. In the late game, she has the ability to blink on a squishy character, and kill them with 2 to 3 button presses, if they don't use their relics properly. Doom Orb, Coin, Gem of Focus, and your passive make you insanely difficult to catch, and if she isn't in your god pool, get some games in because she is insane right now, even with the recent nerfs. Medusa's back in a different role, but with the same build, with the same reasons. She's powerful, she does a ton of damage, and that's all you really need. My next pick is Morgan Le Fay. She's interesting. Her lack of movement ability has made up for by her movement speed and her get off me buttons. She has really good damage, has really good poke, and her build is similar to Chang'e's. But I would avoid Obsidian Shard because it's not as good on Le Fay because of how her damage is applied. My next pick is Agni. Agni has damage, safety, and short cooldowns. Agni can run games for the mid lane. He's versatile, and I feel this build fits him well. He can do a lot of things, his bombs come up very quickly in the late game, and he just gets stuff done. Another mid lane hunter recommendation, Neith. This one allows you to have impact around the map regardless of where you are. She generally goes ability based and feels strong doing it. In the late game, she has potential to one-shot carries. Not to the same degree Chang'e does, but that Neith ultimate is disgusting and can do around 1k. You could look towards the Bluestone, or you could look towards the Mannequin's Hidden Blade. I prefer the Bluestone. Jungle is powerful now, and actually feels incredibly impactful. My first pick for this role is Camazotz. Who else? Having high damage, safety, and healing turns out to be really good. His ultimate is both a chasing tool and a safety tool, and it's really strong. The only downside he has is he has barely any CC. Keep that in mind when you look to pick him. Daji is another god that is good because of her insane kill potential. Her ultimate forces purification beads easily, and she has so much mobility. She's difficult to 1v1 in the late game, and she's useful at all points in the game. My next pick is here mainly because of how solo-sided the jungle meta is right now. You need to be able to fight early and be effective at it. And Awilix is good at both of those things. She has easy ganks into gods with jumps, and is really good for most of the game. The only time she struggles is on late game sieges and defenses. Every other point, she's a high damage burst assassin. And when soul laners don't really go beads and are going teleport, if you have a knockup on your team, that guy's toast. I took Lancelot out of the last one, but I think people were just tired of playing him. He's still incredibly effective in the jungle. Similar to Kama, he just has absurd damage. His safety is really good, and he's really hard to 1v1 late game. Lancelot can just explode people and run lobbies. If he's not banned, you should be picking him. And my last pick is going to be Susano. Again, Susano is just got the same kill potential he's always had. He explodes people and slips out in seconds. Overall, a slippery pick that you shouldn't be sleeping on. If you're good with him, you should be playing him. Finishing it up with the solo lane, we got Kukulkan, your resident angry guy. He has really good kill pressure early, and so many people still aren't used to the health changes in the game. His engage in the late game is really strong, and he has kill potential, which can get you an early lead, which can allow you to rotate and use that lead to get your team a lead, pushing you into the late game, giving you a win. But lane pressure, you have to mention Surtur. Surtur is a lane pressure machine. This god does insane damage, his safety, once he hits level 5, is crazy, and he moves so fast. His late game is a bit more difficult to pilot, but with a bit of time, you will learn it, and it's pretty effective. Mulan will remain the only woman I'm recommending because of her insane kill pressure and her ability to just win lanes. And sometimes games all by herself. Be careful though, she's an easier gank, but she can fight back into those ganks and possibly turn it into a double kill. In the late game though, she is very susceptible to just being killed. Carries do a lot of damage right now, and dying isn't good. You don't need me to tell you that. Also, avoid playing her into Osiris. It is by far her worst matchup. My next recommendation is Chaac. He is just tanky. He doesn't lose many, if any, lanes, and he just feels good to play. His dive is powerful, his movement and gameplay make him interesting and fun to play, and his gigantic slow and attack speed slow is a massive tool for late game team fights. The mitigations he gains while channeling his ultimate and the protections he gets from hitting his 2 make him really difficult to kill, especially with the ability-based hunters that are going around in the mid lane. My next recommendation is the Squid, Cthulhu. He's making massive waves in the solo lane. He has a lot of pressure in a lot of matchups, and even the ones he doesn't have pressure in, he goes even in. In the late game, he's a powerhouse he's always been, and that allows him to play aggressively. He has good trade potential, good bull demon fights, and more. This god's got a lot, and you should be picking him if you're a solo laner. So, this is the new meta update. Hope you like the new format. But this is why it's going to take a little bit longer for them to come out. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed. Check out my Twitch, my Twitter, my Nexus, and my Corsair affiliate link if you're interested in buying some new stuff for your PC. Linked in the description below. Otherwise, though, peace.